You are
I
live.
got there.
There it is. Now, let me see if I got anything else. I got that one. Yeah, it's showing us live on my phone already. All right. Okay, audio's on. We're broadcasting FM 88.3. We're on YouTube live streaming, and we have Randy on Zoom.
I got something in my teeth. Dang it.
And I got all these controls up here, so don't change them.
Oh. That's gonna be going in. Still presenting anything.
I know.
Yeah, you still want a table because you gotta be here. You can't see any of
All right,
that.
got it.
So you can,
But
once you get
we're
your,
just doing titles and totals.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
Randy, you're hearing us okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's gonna start the meeting?
You ready to go?
Vice President. Yeah, we're ready.
Let's
We're
do it.
live. Everything's ready to rock and roll.
I was going to email today, but I got title.
That's fine, let's talk about it before we.
All right, thank you for attending tonight. I am going to serve the role as president, as our friend Randy Piero is home in his living room, drinking a tea. So let us stand and pledge short devotion. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you that we've gathered in this place. Lord, we just thank you for all the gifts and talents of all the folks in this room. And we just ask that you watch over those employees of the township and those residents as well, and allow us to make informed and good decisions that will benefit our township residents. It's in your name. Amen. Amen. Okay. Do we need to make any changes to our agenda for this evening?
I had none.
Any changes?
Only thing I have is down under correspondence. I just have an Atarma, another specialist wants to come join us.
Okay.
That's,
I got something under the cemetery on Wildwood,
Okay.
and I've got just a little bit on that Sindel property from last meeting.
Okay. Thank you. And I have a tanker report and a couple things for the fire department when we get to that point. All right. Wonderful. Have you had a chance to review the meeting minutes for 4/12/21?
Griffith motions to accept the minutes as presented.
Trustee Varian, second. Do we need to all in favor? We do that on all of them. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Yeah.
So why'd you abstain?
Oh, I said aye.
Oh,
I said anyone abstain.
Oh, I thought you abstained.
No, no.
Okay.
Approval for the treasurer's report, 226.
I motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Griffith.
Trustee Varian, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful, thank you. Public speaks, we do not have any this evening, so we will move along. Fire report.
Good evening. First two issues on the agenda, the monitor contract and the billing fee schedule. Chief Parker did all the legwork for those, so she'll be able to answer your questions and explain it better than I can. So she'll go over that.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the billing. So we had talked, 2 meetings ago about both adding in a specific rate for a medic assist. So if, specifically in this case, a private ambulance used one of our medics, we want to have a rate where we say, hey, you took us out of service, we want to charge not the person that was transported, but the company. So we need to add that, and the rate is $200, and that is based on what other agencies use specifically just for that one person. We have a lot of mutual aid contracts, so if we provide a medic to like Sandy Creek or Canton Township, they provide for us, usually no charge. We do a lot of mutual aid there. This was a completely different situation that honestly, I think has maybe happened one other time.
Okay.
So we want to have that fee in there. And then we also, when I talked to Ohio Billing, we are way below what we probably should be at to bill. So I have a sheet here I printed out. I didn't make copies, but that gives us, I can make copies, okay. That gives us those rates of where we probably need to be. Now, I will say these rates that are on here, for example, we charge $600 for an ALS run. $800 is what is the max charge that we can have. So if we bring that up to $800, that doesn't guarantee we're going to get $200 more. In fact, most of the time it's a Medicare or Medicaid. We're not getting anywhere near that, but there are some insurance companies that pay up to that amount. So if we bump those numbers up to $700, $800, we might still not get that, but we might get anywhere more than between $600 and $800. So these numbers that are on here in yellow, when I make copies, are the proposed numbers, and then you can see next to it what our current charges are.
Okay.
These have been in effect since, I believe it's been several years since we've actually raised rates themselves. And it just reflects what insurance reimbursement is. And so bringing those numbers up, yeah, in the end may only net us several thousand more dollars a year, but it's still several more $1,000s that insurance companies are willing to pay if we bill that. And so I can make copies of these numbers, but I guess I would ask that you bring those up. I know you had wanted a copy of this in print, so.
Perfect. And would you like this to happen as soon as possible?
Well, the sooner we do it, the sooner we can send it to Ohio Billing and have that be our rate.
So can I ask a couple questions?
You can.
So on the mileage here, is that a set fee or is that, what is that amount?
Per mile. So it's currently $12 a mile is what we charge. So if it is a run that needs a paramedic, it's an ALS run, which is $600 plus $12 a mile. So most of the time if we're in the village, it's 6-ish miles to the hospital. If we're out on like Weimer, it's 12 miles.
Mhm.
So it is that amount per mile that they reimburse on top of the fee. Now, our residents, even with this change, are still not paying anything. This is just
So just the medical
reimbursement
billing.
from the insurance company. Yeah, so our residents are still paying nothing out of pocket.
And do you know roughly what the insurance does reimburse typically? Just a typical reimbursement.
So it depends on what kind of insurance it is. Medicare and Medicaid are on the lower end and they have an amount, and I honestly don't know what that amount is. Private insurance is a little bit higher. It would be less than these numbers in most cases, so less than $700 for a BLS, less than $800 for an ALS, but it's gonna be more than the $450 that we're currently charging.
Okay.
Is there any negative or any backlash for us to send this in and say, these are our new rates?
No, because if an insurance company is not gonna pay it, they're not gonna pay it.
Got it.
I think, didn't we just recently, Brian, have someone call here about, because we charged their insurance company? I thought someone,
Yes, we had an email actually during the last meeting. We had a township resident that sent me an email and asked I have to look it up to be specific, but I think his question was, I thought the township residents were not charged, and we explained it in the last meeting, and I sent an email back to him that explained that the insurance, he didn't think He didn't think anyone was charged. But I said the insurance is
Correct.
charged, and then the difference the resident doesn't have to pay.
Correct.
So I explained
Yes.
that, but he was
Yes.
surprised anyone was charged. That
Yes.
I confirmed that with him. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So can we move to make these changes?
Yes, because this proposal that we got,
Yep.
Ohio Billing forwarded that to Sue and I.
Perfect.
We already had it, and all you have to do is a resolution confirming this new listing with that $200
Yeah.
assist
That's
fee.
an add-on to this.
Yeah, that's an add-on.
Okay.
And they said all I have to do is send it to them via the resolution tomorrow, and it will go into effect that quick.
Great.
Okay.
So when I make a motion, do I have to specifically read all these off? Or
You could call this in general, the new
Okay.
proposed rate.
Great. All right. Trustee Varian moves to increase our billing through Ohio Billing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Through Ohio Billing, we're going to use the proposed document. There are a couple different increases here. We are also going to add a $200 proposed charge for a paramedic assist, which would be just a paramedic without a vehicle. We're going to add that as well.
Trustee Griffith seconds that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. The second thing that's on there is the contract for the monitor. So this is for the heart monitors for the Life Pack 12 monitors. And I know I had talked to Brian and I had asked if this was a charge we had gotten before or not. So I did a little bit of digging. When we purchased our monitors in 2016, they came with a 5-year warranty. So that is why. So when we purchased them initially, we bought a 5-year service contract on them. That 5-year service contract is up. So I asked for some numbers from the guy at Stryker, because it's $444 per year per monitor to have a service contract with them. And so I had asked about, okay, what if you just come out? Like, what if something breaks and you just come out? So the cost for them coming out is a minimum charge for time plus mileage for them. So we're looking at about $1,000 for them to come out and fix our monitors. And that's not counting parts, because Stryker charges all of those things. There's a minimum amount of time, there's a minimum of all of those things. So I guess in the past, when we had our old monitors, we did not do service contracts. With these new ones, we had it as part of our initial purchase on both. They're staggered. So one was purchased in 2015 and one in 2016, I believe. So the first contract is up. The next one will be up within the next, I believe, 6 months. So this charge, this $444, is for them to come once a year and look everything over, do a PM on it. And then if there's anything wrong, they fix it at that point in time, as opposed to them coming out to fix something, looking at about $1,000 minimum to fix it.
Do we
So-
still pay parts on it if they find
We
something
would
wrong?
still pay parts if it's something major that's broken. If it's something minor that they just would fix or tweak when they come out once a year and do a PM, they would do it that way. Now, I will say this is a piece of equipment that if it's not in service, our ambulance is out of service.
And do we have any issues with them right now? Are they functioning properly right now?
They are,
Okay. And one was 15, one was purchased in 15, one was purchased in 16.
I believe so. They are staggered, I believe, by a year.
Got it.
Because I'd asked him, like, well, only one contract is up, and he said, yes, but the other one will be up here in May of 2022 is the other one.
And do they
Okay.
not do the 5 years anymore? Or is it annual from this point
It's
forward?
annual from this point forward. It was part of the initial purchase to do it for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So refresh it, the minimum is $400 and some dollars.
144.
$444 per monitor per year. That has the guy come out and PM them once a year.
Then if he finds something at any point, they could increase that fee.
Yes.
Sure,
You don't know what that is
Sure.
at that point. So
Yep.
at least we need to be prepared for each
Sure.
year of $444.
Okay.
And then when he comes out, is there something that you put on your sheets for, say, fiscally for me to see that he was there? So when I get a bill
I
to
can't.
see that additional things were done.
Yeah, and he would not do additional things without telling me without letting me know what's going on. He's actually pretty good about getting back to me.
Okay, and the other option is running them the way they are, and when something breaks, it's $1,000 plus parts.
Yes.
Okay.
Give or take, like 900 and something
Okay.
for him to come out.
Fiscal officer Lowry, do we have that available in the budget?
We have the funds available for any maintenance issues. It's just when it comes in, if it grows into,
Sure.
say when they're there, we wouldn't know that till they're physically
Sure.
there. If it grows, I just need to know because I'll get a bill sometimes probably before I get paperwork from the
Sure.
fire department. I just need to know that to be prepared, and then I can come to the board, the trustees and you with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you need to do your 444 annual, sounds like.
Yeah.
And then additional, you just have
So-
approved.
As a point of clarity, the last 5 years, he's still come out and checked them once a year because of the
paid
original
for
service
it
contract.
in the
Okay.
initial. Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did pay for it. It was just through 5 years. Yeah, because I asked him, I said, we have not had this before. And so he looked to see
Okay.
when the monitors were purchased and they just,
And is this through
Yeah.
Stryker?
it is. Mhm.
All right.
Well, trustee Griffith, I'll make a motion that we renew the annual maintenance and service contract on monitor number 1, I'll say, for $444 annually.
And then we're also gonna do that on monitor 2 as well. We're gonna wait.
We have to wait till next year.
Yeah, it'll be May of 22.
Okay.
So I'll come back, but at least that time I'll know why.
Trustee Varian seconds. All in favor?
Uh,
All right, thank you.
Here's the contract, Brian.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Payroll sign. Randy's gonna sign this. Payroll.
You have to sign the front piece.
Okay. It says here, okay. It says Randy's gonna sign payroll. That's why I didn't sign it. 610 to repair radio.
Yeah, so one of our members was having some issues with the radio. When I checked it, it did not appear to be a battery issue. So when they came in and fixed the station speakers a few days ago, I just had them take the radio at that time. And I received an email from Staley's Technologies. They have to send it to the manufacturer with an estimate of $610. They sent me an email and I thought it was in the email, which I just forwarded to Trustee Varian and Fiscal Officer Lowry, but it doesn't appear like the amount is in the email that she sent me. So I don't know if we have to get it from the company that's gonna do the work. If I have to wait till I hear from them to confirm the 610, but that's what she told me in her email, that the estimate's $610 to have it repaired. So for now, I'm looking for approval for the $610 amount. And the radios aren't under warranty anymore.
What's a new radio cost?
Well, we got a discount when we bought all the radios at $3,000 a piece.
Okay.
Assuming we don't get that, they're $4,000.
Okay.
But these radios aren't that old. It's just when we went to Mark's.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with this particular one, but
Okay.
not sure when we went to Mark's.
Is that also
2018.
maintenance?
Do we know why it quit working?
No, so basically it shuts on and off on its own when she has it on. She said it'll be on and all of a sudden she'll hear it. When you turn it on, it says Osnaburg Township and what channel you're on, so she'll hear it say that. And it'll show that the battery's fully charged. And when she takes it out, it immediately goes to red, which indicates that it's not charged. But I checked the batteries and they both seem fine, so we believe it's a radio issue.
Do we have any spare radios?
We have one, but I have to issue that to one of the new employees. So once I do that, we're not gonna have any spare portable radios.
And I thought that was it the county was gonna maintain a couple where we could borrow them, or?
I don't know of any way to borrow any from the county. I was not told that.
I thought that I remember back when we set this up, they were buying extra ones. Either that or they were buying extras that we could purchase more from them, I guess.
That may be, I could,
There was something, they brought in extra radios.
yeah, that could be through the sheriff's department. I can check with them, but that's news to me. I was not told that at any point during the whole process.
Okay.
But basically, she has to have a radio because she can't communicate, obviously, without it. So that's what they're estimating the cost to be.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to repair the radio at $610 through Stated Technologies.
Griffith seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, 249.
So, 249 was back in service a few days ago, and we've already sent it out 3 times. It went out again today on another fire on Burger.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good. There are some issues that we kind of ran into. One being that the hose that came with it, as soon as they stretched it out the night that it was put in service, they stretched it out and checked it, and there was a hole in it.
Yeah, it's got a boot washer.
So it's still usable, but I talked to Trustee Varian already, and what our plan is, we were gonna have to purchase more hose to replace it, plus we needed additional sections for length. And we thought it's better, we already have 1.5-inch hose at the station, we already have nozzles. If we just change the connection on the pump, we don't have to purchase any more hose. It's just a matter of changing the connection because it's not, the connection that's on there now isn't compatible with our 1.5-inch hose.
Yeah.
So that would be the easiest solution.
Is this the new hose we just,
That we got from the Timken company? Well, the hose that's damaged is the one that came.
The one that came with
skid.
the pump, yeah.
oh,
Damn, it's got a hole in it.
The 1.5 inch, we have plenty of that now because of what we received from the Timken company.
okay.
So I have the fitting, so I got a fitting from the fire department, so I'm looking for pipe thread on the one side and fire thread on the other.
Right.
And if we can change out just one fitting, then their 1.5-inch, the pile 1.5-inch hose they have, they can stretch it out as long as they need to go. With nozzle, obviously you're going to a bigger hose, so your volume's gonna.
Right, the volume, but again, it is what it is. We'll
Yeah.
have a more volume, I mean, the tank will be empty
Quicker, right,
It's just,
Right.
it'll be more useful in that situation.
okay.
There's some other minor things that I spoke with Trustee Berry about and the superintendent, road superintendent. But they're kind of minor things that, some things we can just work on,
Mhm.
kind of
We're
work
gonna-
the kinks out.
Yeah, we're gonna work up a shield for the side of the gas. I mean, that little gas motor runs all afternoon and they go to throw their tools back into it and it's gonna burn whatever's next to it.
Just the way it's
Just
set
a little
up, you need
shield.
to have something to protect
Yeah.
to keep.
So we're
from
working
getting
out the
damaged.
kinks on it.
The tire issue.
Yeah, so one of the other issues, they did get hung up. The first run just happened to be to my house. Yeah, I'm not real proud of it. But that's where it was. So we got a full on experience with the new tank and the pump. Sean just sent me an email. The fire station that there were 4 or 5 firefighters there at my house that evening. Where they were putting the fire out at my house, they got the truck hung up. The tires are street tires. We probably should look at a little more of an aggressive tire. Because we're spending so much money right now, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to table that. I've got a price right now of a 245/75/17 that was sent by one of the firefighters here in Osnaburg. He's got a friend that has a tire shop, $150 a tire. But if it's okay, I'd like to maybe wait for that.
Sure.
But if we get a set of tires on it, we get that nozzle switched out, we get a guard on the shield for the exhaust, I think we'll be looking good. The quick fill connect works good. It fills right up.
Yeah,
And they came out with a couple tanks to me, so.
possibility of maybe mocking up a second shelf above the one that's on there now. Because when we put that additional hose on there,
You're gonna need more
that hose is
room.
gonna take up more room than what the current one does.
Yeah.
We're really limited on space.
Okay.
So that's something, I don't know if you guys are able to do that, but it's something that we
Right.
can look at down the road.
Well, I want to put it on record. Thank you to Trustee Pirro and to the road guys. They've got a lot of time and energy into that pump system, so thank you. I mean, I'm not glad it's been out 3 times, but the minute it went back into service, it was
Yeah,
being
we
used.
used it quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll look at tires. We'll look at a couple of those shields, and I'm going to try to get that fitting going. So, all right, 241.
So 241, the issue that we're having now is when you plug the shoreline in, part of what it does is it keeps the air pressure build up. There's a motor that runs inside and something, I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, but it runs constantly and it's not building the air pressure up. The only way to get the air pressure build up is to start the engine up, let it sit outside for a minute, and then it builds the pressure up, which causes a delay if it's not built up when a call comes in. So I was talking to Trustee Varian about that also, and I believe that we can just send it over to RB Trucking and have them look at it, but we can't do that until the tanker comes back, but that's gonna be soon.
That's gonna be soon. So yeah, I was there with Fire Chief, and sure enough, you plug that thing in and that little pump just runs. It never builds pressure. And it looks to be a separate pump than the engine pump because it builds pressure right away and releases the brakes. So being an air brake truck, when they get a call, that engine has to sit there and idle until there's enough pressure to release the air brakes to be able to drive down the road. So that's the reason for the little jumper pump.
Right.
I think we need to let R&B's take a look at it once we get the tanker back.
I mean, it probably would only be out of service for a day or two, but we have to wait till the tanker comes back to do that. So
Okay.
that's just something that's gonna be coming, and as soon as I get a cost, I'll forward it to the fiscal officer.
Okay. Anything else?
Just the only other thing is the call volume, you can see there on the sheet.
Was there an estimate on when that tanker's due back?
Yeah, so the tanker, thank you, I'll grab that. So I spoke to Zach today, and I've also spoke to the chief as well. So the tanker was getting tested this morning. They have a couple tiny things to do. They weren't quite ready to give it back to us today, but the plan is to go get it tomorrow. So we're gonna need to, Rick happens to be off. I don't wanna use his whole day off, I wanna get a tanker. We're gonna try to get some folks down there to pick that up. I've given Zach the address here, fiscal officer. He had the address to the fire department, and I also told him to send me an email. I asked him, I said, where are we price-wise? We were at the 30,000 mark, and he has got to finish up his estimate. Two things that they did not plan for, and they just went ahead and fixed because it's maintenance stuff. The two batteries, and we might have to look back into this if there's any kind of warranty, but the two batteries in the truck kept dying. Every time they'd move it in and out of the building, they would die and have to jump it. They tested the batteries; they were both junk. So this isn't something that I approved. This is something he just told me today. So he said they put two new batteries in it, and that's done. And then when they had the truck all back together, they found a second air leak, which they fixed. So the two batteries and the air leak will be over and above that 30,000. But we should be seeing that bill very soon because it sounded like he had most of it worked up. The truck is completely back together. The pump test has been done. There's no leak. There was one air issue that they fixed, and the second air issue was the second thing that they found, but they got all that. He feels good about it. He said everything works. So they were really kind of going over with it. I told him, I said, please don't give it back to us and there'll be a bunch of lights out. Like, please go over this thing. Because when it gets back, we need to use it immediately because we haven't had it for so long. So Zach's been great to work with, answers the phone every time I call. It's been great. So hopefully they're going to call me in the morning. I don't want you guys running down there before they call me because I don't want you to get there and have to sit there for a couple hours. We're not done. But as soon as he calls me, we'll send some folks down and get that thing back. So does that sound good? Great. We need to do a then and now PO for the tires for the fire truck. This came in early 2 weeks ago, right after the meeting. Found we needed some tires for 241. Spoke to both trustees and the fiscal officer. And so we approved that outside of a meeting to get that handled. And that's obviously been taken care of, and we're good to go there. Okay, great. Trustee Varian moves to pay, who did we buy this from?
Ziegler.
Thank you. Trustee Varian moves to pay Ziegler $1,453.64. Was that on 241?
Yeah. It's
For a fire truck, 241.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I do have one thing when you're done. So I didn't have a chance yet to mention that we are having the East Canton Rotary Community Festival on June 11th and 12th, Friday, Saturday. So I know we need to get the coupler or whatever the thing is for the.
Yep, I just saw it the other day. It's sitting there on the shelf.
Okay. And then I didn't know if you were able to do your little kitty thing again.
Yeah, I'm sure we can set that up.
They seem to really enjoy
Yeah,
shooting that water hose.
we should be able to do that.
So,
Water is fine and firefighters are cool, so.
yeah. And
Right.
This year they opted to book New Wave Nation
Oh,
yeah.
on Friday night.
Yeah, good.
And then we have another band for Saturday night.
That will
They're
probably bring
expecting-
some
You
people.
know what the hours are,
They're 4 to 10,
both days?
both days. Shorter hours.
I was worried about not having any fire trucks for the parade. Since we had so many out, there's like one lonely fire truck. Hopefully we'll have them all back by the parade.
Chief Shearer and trustees, we did receive, and I put it in the mailbox, that shoreline
Yeah,
for,
I got that.
yeah, just to let you know, that just came in
Yeah,
today.
we should go and get that installed for the medic unit.
Okay.
And
That
can
was
we-
for medic 250.
55.
255. Could we get a quick update on pancake breakfast? How'd that go?
Actually, it went very well. So last year when we did the chili dinner, we started the drive-through option, which was the first time we've done that. So we continued that with the pancake breakfast, and it was very busy from that perspective. Good turnout inside and very busy on the drive-through, so it went very well.
Great. All right. Anything else for fire? All right, thank you. Cemetery report.
I know that Ryan isn't here.
Okay.
I don't know if Randy or Stu want to give an update on anything.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I met Ryan out there a couple days after the meeting there at Wildwood. And we looked at it, I don't know if you remember the pictures, there's 2 sets of stairs, a lower and a driveway, then a set of stairs. And there's no reason for any of it to be there. If you go back in behind where the church was, the reclamation's terrible. I wouldn't, they have to weed eat the whole thing. I wouldn't run my mower across it. It's all bumpy and rough. What we come up with is to have all the cement tore out and bushes tore out and sign tore out. And then Stu ran up there with Andy Parker and I talked to him on the phone. And I think we can stay within the $2,000 budget and have it bulldozed up over and fill in where the church was and then blend in with the rest of the property down through. So it's right off the street because everything, nobody's going to use them steps. You go straight down and you can park. If they come down right on the road, it'll probably be a lot better. It'll be better for the landscaping and if we ever want to sell plots down the road.
Randy, do you see leaving the access road or taking the access road out?
Yeah, there's no reason to keep it
Okay.
because you just pull up onto it and then you go
Right
right
back
down
down.
onto the parking area.
Okay. Gotcha. So that whole area can be pulled out. Parking area be
All
left.
that to go back up.
All that can go back up into that.
Otherwise, we're going to have to haul in 10 to 20 tandem dump truck loads of dirt in the back because it's not mowable. It's rough. It's bad. There's a couple pieces of foundation that are still down. I think they'll be all right in there, but they're right at the surface where they can blend all this in with that dirt where it's out front there where the steps are.
Okay.
So Randy, do you know that there's no plots close to where we would be doing this? Nope.
We're not going anywhere. We are not disturbing anywhere that's been
That wasn't the church.
any question. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the bank to the road. I don't know why they must have built a church and then they kind of cut into the bank there to make that driveway up to it. And then they built this church was built up off the ground there some. But no, Ryan didn't feel there was any risk of anything, and I don't see how there could be any risk of anything. It's not.
I thought they had said that there were some really old ones that they wasn't sure about. Maybe that's a different section.
That's probably a different section. We walked around there and looked, and he showed me some areas where that are a cause of if you was going to do something with, you'd have to have it ultrasound or something.
Yeah, so that's not near there, that
No,
section.
that's not even
Okay.
close.
Let me intervene. The area around that church, the front of it and beside it, within 10 feet of the foundation is nowhere you want to be burying or doing anything there.
Well,
Because over in the area that the mobile home, the old parsonage said, that's the area that needs ultrasound. If you want to do any additional, surveying or ultrasounding to look at future burials, that area where that site, where that church was, and then the front where they want to round this all off, I would suggest no burials there because you're right out on the road. You're where a footer was and the old church was standing. You don't know what could have been in there that you're disturbing around that area. I wouldn't, other than
I
just,
agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we won't have to dig anything up other than where the steps in the road is. That's gonna be pushed back up. As far as once you get into the cemetery, they're just gonna cosmetically make it better for the landscape crew.
Hey, can them two pine trees,
To the south of it, that if we ever wanted to sell lots, that Brian said is free and clear.
Randy, can you, make, maybe an idea of them two big pine trees need to get out of there too?
Yeah. we
They're an
talked about that
eyesore.
too.
And they could, that's where you could put your lots in, right down through there where all that
Right,
area
right.
is.
Yes, we looked at that. And there's lots of parking there beside it. And there's parking across the street, gravel, that they can park.
Randy, do we need to move do we need to move on this, or have we already talked about this $2,000?
I think let's wait till next meeting. I'd like to get a little more talk to Andy Parker. Because of my situation, I couldn't.
Randy, your $2,000 is already being used, some of that money now for fuel. These guys' labors and stuff like that will be all adjusted in there now. So,
He did, yeah, and I gotta get a harder number. He thought if we could come in about 1,500 on the dozer work.
Okay, great. So we'll cover it.
The only thing I haven't figured out yet is on the seating of it. Somebody has to seat it down.
Okay.
So, fiscal Lowry, is that, if we needed to do any tree trimming, would that be our budget gone then?
right now, this $2,000, you had $11,500 in there that was usable. But the 10,000 of that I designate for Jim Beck's crew. So you really don't have much more to work with this year.
Okay.
If you do the stuff that's here now, the dollar amounts that you have that are already done with the Jim Beck, and this is at all cemeteries, the budget I have is like $15,000. And some of that goes to Sonny for doing grave digging. So I'm not saying there isn't money there. It just needs to be reappropriated if we use it. But you would drain it down pretty bad if you want any more than what
Because we're coming into, we have a lot left of this year yet. I would be a little concerned that we didn't have access in case we had a tree fall on something, that we didn't have some money available to do an emergency. I do think it would be good to do exactly what you said, Randy. I believe we should do the whole thing. But I'm a little concerned about taking
Doing it
all of
now.
our money to do it.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna have to pay a landscape crew to go out there pretty soon. It's getting pretty rugged. I'll tell you, it's gonna become a very bad eyesore.
Yeah.
So
All right,
it has to be done.
Well, let's talk about it next meeting. We'll get some numbers together and we'll see what happens.
We can cut down those two pine
Try
trees.
to get them on paper,
Nothing
but
wrong.
something has to be done with it.
Chop them up,
Okay.
blow 'em away.
All right. Thank you. Anything else for the cemetery? Great. Road report.
Good evening, everyone. Trustees have read over the road report for April 26th. Is there any questions you'd like to ask?
What is the dolphin ran into the wellhead? What is that?
The company that put our Generac
Yeah.
system in came to pick up the check the one morning early, like 6 in the morning. And when he went to pull out, he didn't see it and tried to go, I guess, in between it and the building and caught the side of the van.
Oh, did it really?
Oh, yeah. Tore it up pretty good.
On the water well?
Yeah.
The water well head just got
Okay.
scratched up.
It didn't do
A little
nothing.
scratched up. and
Oh, it didn't
especially
break it or
with
anything.
It did major damage to their new
Their
vehicle.
new
It
vehicle.
peeled the whole side of their rocker
Oh,
off.
I mean, it crushed the inside of
It
it.
is
I
bad
mean, it
shape.
crushed the slider door and so
Whoops.
bad it messed the inside rocker.
Other times they drive Sprinter vans, that company.
Is that because he pulled back around or something?
No, it's nothing really damaged, just the top cap just needs knocked back in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a nothing.
He come up there and pulled in there on an angle, and then he went to leave, didn't see that
Didn't
well,
see it.
it was dark kind of still.
Yeah.
And he started to turn to just swing around there and
Caught
got it. Then he finally stopped.
it. After the damage was done.
Back.
What did you have to fix on the, emulsion machine? I thought I seen we paid for a part for it.
The emulsion machine, where did you see that on the report?
No, I signed a check for it, for the
It
part.
was your air filter on your Durapatch.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the dirt patch,
Oh, yeah. That-
just
yeah.
an air filter.
Just an air filter. It's the first time we bought one since, I think we've owned it. It was time. It's the main filter that pushes all the flow for the stone, to push the stone and everything
Mhm.
back through the machine. And you can't find them anywhere. They have to go, you gotta go through the company.
Thanks a lot for working on that grass truck.
Yeah, you had a lot of time in that restaurant.
Brian did a lot of the work.
And that, just to the
I'll
point
make
of,
sure I tell him.
See Brian Garrett
Brian
for
Garrett.
the
Brian
audience
Garrett,
who's out
yes.
there, make sure.
and that hitch is mounted on the front too, and the winch is hanging on it.
He also sprayed that protective coat on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but undercoated it, which looks
Yep,
good.
Undercoated it.
Yeah.
It's all undercoated and
Yeah.
it should be in good shape.
Good.
That's another thing too, by the way, when you were talking about that. We wanted to try to get that tanker truck right down here and they can get underneath
Yeah,
and
we
spray
talked
that whole
about-
underside real quick.
We talked about when the tanker truck gets back to undercoat it, which I think would be a smart thing.
And it's how long you have to wait after that's done to start driving? I mean,
Spray and dry.
Spray and drive it, yeah.
You don't
Get the
have
wind under it from the road, that dries it out, dries it off, you know?
to take it down a dirty road.
The All-American Fire Department, where you guys got the part from, is that someplace I could go to get the part I'm looking for the brush truck?
Joey's.
You always, okay, all right, cool. All right. We're gonna do that later. Anything else for the road?
Not that I know of. Hopefully we'll get back at Durapatch in here tomorrow possibly, since it's gonna be fairly warm out. It's been a little too cold to run the machine.
It snowed since the last time we met. I knew you. All right, zoning report.
Since we last met, there were 2 permits issued, one for a pole barn, one for the self-storage. I'm expecting more to come in this week since we had a lot of questions and emails last week. Last week, we got 2 nuisances for junk vehicles, one on Broadway, one on Effinger Road. So I drove by on the 22nd and took pictures and sent a letter today, both certified and regular. Update for the Indian Run Cemetery with the trash going into that. I sent out a letter today to address that issue. And next up, we're having a zoning meeting, May 17th, and for landfill, the contact couldn't make next Monday, so we moved it to June 7th.
So do you have to redo the announcement for Brian then?
Yes.
Okay.
Zoning Inspector, Rocker, the May 17th is a normal third Monday meeting for commission, right?
Yeah.
And I got the correspondence about the June 7th, but if you want me to help you with that first time through so you see what it is, I gave you that one example. You can just change the dates and all, whatever you need done, and then it being it's June 7th, here in the next few weeks, we should at least advertise 14 days out, 10 days out. So anytime you have that ready, I can get it prepared.
Okay.
So I do have a question. A couple meetings ago, we passed for junk vehicle removal, that we would charge up to $1,000 per vehicle to the property owner. Brian, does that have to be filed somewhere before we can actually start to use that? And both of these addresses on here have multiple vehicles.
Gotcha.
I think the one, and you can, Mary,
The one on Broadway had
Oh, yeah.
at least 8 vehicles. There's probably more, but I didn't have a chance to really get a good look. See, I counted at least 8 from the pictures I took.
That's the one thing into nickel plate.
That would be that's where Broadway and Georgetown meet.
Okay.
Kind of. It's a couple houses up from Georgetown.
Got it.
The proper way to answer you, Trustee Griffith, of doing the, if you're going to act on something you all trustees put in play, make sure first that it's in your manuals and posted. Make sure that we've ran it through the prosecutor, what we're going to do. And then I would say, as far as recording it, the recorder's office needs the updated fee schedules and everything out there. I know that was always formally prepared by the zoning inspector, and then I took it out and had it notarized, and then it was notarized in the recorder book.
the zoning fee schedule?
Yes.
Okay, so next meeting, we need to have that finalized back over.
Yeah.
And then, we did the resolution here. Is there anything else that has to happen?
You don't
with that
have to do
resolution?
anything here, but if you, how are you judging, is there something in your zoning manual in regards to what you're deeming as junk vehicles? Is there descriptions? Is there something in there?
It's just under Ohio Revised Code.
Okay, so you should have something in there stating Ohio Revised Code is what you're using
Parameters.
as something.
So when we sent it, we did send it up to regional planning, and they said we did not need to have anything put in our zoning book because it falls under Ohio Revised Code.
Okay,
It's already there. So they said we as trustees needed to just do the resolution, which we did.
Gotcha. So the recorder's office who would actually assess the fee. So I mean, like that would be next step.
well, I want to make sure if you're going by Ohio Revised Code, there has to be something identifying the people that have this issue. They've been notified of the Ohio Revised Code. Is there a certain amount of time they have to act?
She would follow her normal letter process, like she
Yeah.
just sent their first letter.
Yeah.
We're gonna follow
Yeah.
that process.
As long as you're following the process that reflects the Ohio Revised Code's procedures, I think you're all right. You don't have to do anything.
Well, my concern when it comes back to us, assessing that fee on their property taxes, so it's not the owner of the vehicle, it's the owner of the property. And we start removing vehicles, and these both parcels have many vehicles, we could get into some hefty fees. Because to remove that vehicle, the scrap dealer has to run a title search. And so we're gonna have that fee that we are charging up to $1,000, we're gonna have cost up to that amount to the scrap dealer to do all these things. That's required by law. And we have to watch that we're not spending money we don't have, I'll put it that way, to do this.
I think you need to talk about this in a work session or something to do with that, because there's different fees, and talking to some of the local guys that I just happened to talk to, they charge just a couple $100 to remove them. They do the title search themselves. They're already licensed. One of our bowlings up here, he told me he's already licensed to do that. He can take it into his possession then, and he has to wait so many days, and nobody comes out and pays the fee to pick it up to take it and
Pretty much
reclaim it.
impounds it. Yeah.
He takes it and scraps it out, and then that's how he gets recouped additional funds for.
And so we don't have anyone at this point targeted to do that service for
Yeah.
us. So we could look into.
That's where some of the
Yeah.
research has to be done by, everyone to make sure what procedures you want to do, but I think you can do it. I would just be concerned about, you got 10 cars and you go in there and take out 10 cars,
That's
and
my
they're all
concern.
$1,000 a
Yeah,
piece.
right.
I know that the auditor's office will question me putting that much fees in there on that one property owner's $10,000 worth of charges.
Mhm.
I don't think there's got to be a reasonable fee if you have multiple stuff, like the charging
Right.
10,000.
Well, it was up to 1,000.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be 1,000,
Yeah.
but it was when scrap was not worth anything, you were actually almost having to pay to have it taken away.
Sure.
And then you had to pay for the title search and all of that. So we just want to make sure we're not going in the hole on it, I guess, is my concern. So we'll have to keep looking at it before we actually get to that point.
I think you'll be able to do it if you got the high revised code, just follow what those rules are. But you gotta notify, and if you're doing the certified letters and you're getting responses to it, or if you're not getting responses, as long as you follow the protocol of doing what you needed to do.
You just said the regular letter.
I sent a certified and regular, because I talked to Heather about it, and she said send both, just to make sure they get it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for zoning?
I forgot to note, Dish Wireless contacted about, updating an existing tower. And in our fee book, we don't have a fee specifically for that. And I was talking to, previous inspector Heather Bailey, and we were thinking that might be because it's a public utility, it might be no fee, but we weren't quite sure on that.
I don't know if we've ever charged, it was for Verizon?
It's for Dish Wireless,
Or
they're
Dish Wireless?
modifying one of the current towers that's already standing.
And it's on private, the power's on private property, I'm sure. Okay.
I'd have to look into the book too.
Because we were working on that yesterday and we weren't quite sure how to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, well, let's do a little research on that and we'll come
yeah,
back
we'll have
to
to
it.
research that one.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Good job. All right, since we got through that, all right, Old Township business. We have 3 bids that have been turned in for our salt shed project.
Nice.
Due to Mr. Pirro being here by Zoom and not being able to actually look through these bids, I'd like to just read the totals to put them on record, to accept them in, and then possibly next meeting, actually sit down and get detailed with the findings, if that's okay with everybody. That sound good to you? Or do you want to make a decision right now?
Well, can you tell us who they are and what the bids were
Sure.
first?
So 3 bids came in. Miller Builders came in. Now, there's some detail here. They're not all exactly the same. But Miller Builders came in at $146,780. And then there are 5 options for different upgrades to the building. And if all of the options are chosen, the total is $161,765. That is Miller Builders. And then we have a bid sent in by We Cover Buildings Systems, and their bid came in at $171,000 even. This one is a little different in the way this one landed to us. The total is $190,076.50. Along with the bid, there is a certified check written to the trustees for $19,000. So I've never really seen this happen this way, but
They did that because of the performance bond. I'm pretty sure that's why.
okay. So the performance bond is paid up.
I don't understand it all, but I'm pretty sure it's because of performance. If you don't have a performance bond, you do that, you get 10%. Is it check for 10%?
It's 10%, yep. It's 10%.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I just know, I know what they're doing. I know what to
Sure. Obviously, you send to the people you want to get the business from a check. That always helps, right? The final one is Bishop Construction, and their total came in at $129,432. And so there are obviously details. Some of these have different breakdowns. So those are the 3 bids that were presented. for the salt shed project.
So what kind of time frame are we fine to set another 2 weeks and then talk about these again?
When Trustee Puro had let me know that he wouldn't be physically here and knowing these would be coming in, I talked to Charlie Hall, who helped with this, and he suggested tabling it till we were all here. And I asked him that very question. He says, if you can meet a special meeting the next week, depending on if we can get together, or if it goes to the next meeting, you just extend all these guys' times out. Originally, it would have to be up by October, such and such a date. You just give them an extra 2 weeks or whatever that is,
Okay.
however you want to do it. He said,
I
there's
don't wanna
nothing wrong
extend- I don't
with
want to
doing
extend
that.
it if it's in front of us, and I can make a decision and go, because the more we extend it, the. So do we want to go ahead and pick a date to meet?
I'm available like on next week on Wednesday evening, Thursday evening. I'm actually available on Wednesday all day. If I don't know all your trustees, if you're available during the day, and if you could make it.
Well, I think we
Trustee
start with Mr. Piro. When are you going to be allowed to come back into the world?
Oh, as long as nobody else, comes down with anything Saturday.
Okay.
So I can do next week.
Could we? What's next Monday look like?
I'll be on Lake Erie on charters.
So you'll be zooming in now. Well,
No,
let's
that's
then,
not anything next Monday. I could do, the first night I could do would be Wednesday.
okay, the 5th. All right. I have a prior obligation on Wednesday nights. I actually have church.
I can do Thursday.
Thursday the 6th.
What'd Brian say about Thursday?
What time frames, trustees?
Thursday, it would be probably 5:30 before I could get here.
What's your Thursday look like? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm good Thursday evening. If you're good Thursday evening, is
What's
that
it
okay,
look
Randy?
like, Trustee Puro, Thursday?
Yeah, I can probably do it. You better make it 7.
That's fine. I'm fine with
That's
that.
Later,
fine.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Thursday the 6th.
Yeah.
We're gonna call this a special meeting. We're gonna call this a special meeting. That way you can make your moves if you want to make a move, okay?
All right.
All right.
All right. So now we need to make a motion
Yes.
for this first. All right. Trustee Varian moves to wait to discuss the 3 bids that have been entered in here. And we're going to discuss those bids, special meeting on Thursday night at 6. Thursday, May 6th at 7 p.m.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Are we able to are these really detailed in there? Like too much to scan? Are we able to see them before?
I'll make hard copies of everything. One is very detailed and very exactly what we asked for, and that was Miller. What's it called?
We cover buildings.
The we cover, he followed the same thing, a lot of handwritten information on it. And then Bishop Construction didn't fill any of the form out, but he had all nice forms, page by page, saying what he was going to do.
Okay.
So I'm able to do it, but I'd rather give everybody hard copies so you can lay them all out and look at them and study them and question. Because you could still call these vendors too and talk to them.
I'd like to have hard copies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'd
hard
say
copies are better to work on.
if we could get it before Thursday night to look it over.
Yeah, there's no problem with that.
Okay, so you just put it in our mailbox, we can stop, pick them up.
Yeah, I can let you know when they're there.
Okay. All right, great. Well, I'm glad we have 3 to pick from. That's good.
Yeah.
Get moving on that. Okay, new township business. Fiscal Officer Lowry, you need an edit?
Let me see what I got here. Yeah, I need to get, let me read my own notes here. When we did the fiscal office, the new computer, I had to do a file transfer.
Okay.
And I asked Philip to come in. I needed that bill from him, and he did give me that bill. It's roughly, well, when he said it's not hard copy, but it looks like $455 to upgrade my computer over 6 hours, because we had to put carbonite and some other things on it, but the computer did not do the switch over the way it was supposed to do, and that's what we needed to have done, so that's what he helped with.
Okay.
So I need a resolution for that amount. And then the other resolution was for the external backups on each one of the computers, the zoning, the fiscal office, mine, and the regular office secretaries are now over 5 years old, and they are showing signs of like, I don't want to say deteriorating, but after they get 5 years old, these are external hard drives. You should replace them, take them out of service so you don't lose everything, and put new ones in place. And that estimate was, with labor and all, is $340.
Okay. When funds are paid for things like this, where does it typically come out? What
That
account?
comes out of the general fund, all
Okay.
that. And there's money in the general fund in those areas for things like this, because either it's every year or every 4 or 5 years, you have to do updates. Like the UAN computer, that's once every 3 years. These hard drive is once every 5 years. So, you know, I mean, it's not like you're doing this every year. But it's one of those things that we had a problem with the zoning computer, and that's what got me looking. And I asked Philip to look at that, and he showed me that the hard drive was showing errors, and we don't want to lose the hard drive, the external hard drive. The hard drive in the computer can be replaced as long as your external hard drive is okay. So,
All right, Trustee Varian moves to pay Schwab Technologies $455 for a file transfer on the township computer.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Varian moves to pay Schwab Technologies $340 to replace the external backups on all the computers here at the township garage.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Checks needed for spouses.
What's the cost on
The
that?
total
$15.
$15 written to the.
Yeah, we have that check that I had prepared for tonight that you approved at the last meeting for our fees, but all spouse fees, it's easier just to make that check right out to Stark County, and I can put it in with ours and just put it right in.
Can we make it to Stark County?
Stark County
Okay.
Township Association, and then
my checkbook.
the Stark County Township Association, then we can put it right in there with it. And we plan on doing that in the next few days, so it isn't like if you don't have it tonight, you're okay.
All right. Okay. All right, correspondence, Otarma.
Yeah, I received a letter from the Tarma rep, and let me get my note here. We have, you know how they come out and do evaluations? This one has to do with IT stuff. And they're just wanting to come out and talk to the IT guy they referred to here. They didn't ask the fire station, but I don't know what this guy knows. He just wants to check the site out here of how the office is all operated. And I told him I'd like to talk to the trustees to see who might be available. I know Trustee Varian came up and Chief Shear did when they did evaluation of those sites. But I think at least we should start here, but I like the trustees just to hear what they have to say, and then they'll give us an evaluation of anything that they have. I'm just apologize here. I'm trying to find my time frame. He wanted to come week after next, and officially the state audit is going to start that week of May 10th for me. They're going to come here, so I asked him to hold off to the following week. So he gave me some dates like the 18th, May 18th, 19th, and some of those dates
Okay.
to come here.
So
I didn't know if
we can-
anybody wanted to do
so
it. He
can
said
we-
he was flexible. He could come in the evenings.
Let's,
If some, it was after our normal work times, he could come early in the morning. He told me he's flexible.
is it okay if on the meeting of the 10th, we decide, then you'll have a date for sure,
Yes.
time? All right.
Yes,
So
I
we'll
can let him know that.
decide who's going to come to that on the 10th.
Okay.
All right, great. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
One thing I forgot when we were talking, I was gonna bring up and say that, starting, May 3rd, on Monday, we were gonna start and come back at 6:30 to 2:30, starting into the summer months here.
Any comment on that, Randy?
No, that sounds good.
That's about the time they did it last year, right there. What about your part-time guys? Is it time yet for them to come back and do anything to get ready for mowing?
I've been watching it, I mean,
I mean, even
with this
if it-
cold weather, things haven't been coming back growing as fast as normal, I mean,
Yeah, it's
but
coming.
I have a feeling it's gonna take off here, we get these
I was
70,
gonna say,
80
the grass has been
days.
growing. I've mowed 3
Yeah.
times already.
So,
It's not gonna grow as fast either unless we're waiting on normal precipitation.
Right,
So what is the big sign behind?
I was just gonna ask you.
Oh.
Just gonna ask that.
I slid that in there.
No one can notice it. It's just so small.
Yeah.
couldn't see it past
Couldn't
me.
see it.
Uh,
Yeah.
Mr. Thorpe from the, it's part of the commissioners, had that big sign you see there, it's a 5x7, Randy. I'll try to swing this around. It's a 5x7 sign, and then there's a small no dumping sign. And what they got these for is can you see that?
Yeah,
Okay, see how big that thing is?
yeah.
Okay, what they did, I saw them over at Canton Township, and I saw, where else was it, Nimichella, different places have them around all their recycling areas. And they gave these signs to us to put up, and I know Stu has looked over at some of these sites to see how they attach it to an existing fence and different things. But they asked for that to be put up because the Stark County Sheriff to enforce any illegal dumping and trash putting in the wrong dumpster needed this signage up.
Right.
And all I asked Stu to do is bring it in here so you all could take a look at it. Some places are just putting them on posts, some are putting them on a railing and different things like that. But, there'll be a cost. They did say they would reimburse the cost up to I don't remember what it was. I think it's $300, $400 as part of it. But I'm not sure where to exactly position them.
We had talked about it, he had some good ideas
Yeah.
where he could put them in up there.
And how to hook them
How to
up,
mount it.
how to mount it.
But I feel like you almost need to put a piece of plywood behind it. Like, do you need to structurally, I mean, it's thin. I mean, it's gonna flap in the wind if you don't put something behind it. It's got something rigid.
What, you want it up there close to the recycling bins?
Yeah, like behind them,
I mean, I don't know, without looking at it, but the end of the fire station, that's a blank wall, isn't it?
You mean to actually put them on the fire station itself?
Yeah, I thought there was that east wall, and there's nothing there, is there?
No, but it's,
Is it too far away?
they want them to be near the dumpsters.
Okay.
if he got,
I
if he was
think as
able
far
to
as
get
they
lumber,
could
he could put them
vandalize
right
it or
around
anything,
there.
it would be pretty
Yeah.
safe there,
Okay,
but,
something for the 4-wheelers to drive through.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to put that on the side of the building.
No, it's too far away.
Yeah.
Too far away.
It's,
You want them right next to the bins, like most other places are doing.
So we don't own that. That's just a loaner right now.
well, technically it's given to us as part of their,
Okay.
grant money they received,
Okay.
to get these out to all the townships that are doing recycling.
Okay.
So you didn't have to invest in it yourself, and for help in law enforcement, you notice it says, RC3, that means something to the sheriff. If somebody's up there illegally dumping,
Okay.
furniture
So
or
we-
something up
So we don't
there,
have to buy that. We can
No.
post it. Okay.
those are given to us and asked to put up.
I do think it's going to take some backing of some sort. If it's not a full sheet of plywood, which it runs about $90 right now,
Right.
you could at least do some 2x4, 2x6 framing behind it.
He sent some pictures of different mounts, and I know I shared them with Road Superintendent Uncle I know that those guys had some ideas. It sounded like Chief Shear and them had talked about some things, so.
And yeah, so big, you can't really put it on the face of the dumpster. And then if you put it on the face of the dumpster, it's like, well, I threw all my stuff in the other dumpster because it said no furniture in this dumpster. You know, you almost want to post it.
Well, what we were thinking was going with 4x4s, one on each end, but the two center ones will be spaced apart just enough to compensate for this smaller sign
Mhm.
and have them above,
Okay.
right in the center above
Well,
that.
you could do those 4x4s, 4 of them, and then run 2x4s, like you said, couple across to fasten them, you know, to
I
give
don't
it
know
some
if you'd have to.
rigidity.
I don't know if you'd
Four.
have to, you're gonna have those spaced out like that. You're only talking
Yeah.
a
2
foot and a
feet,
half or
yeah.
so in
All right.
If
between.
you had 4 posts, you'd be fine.
That's what we
We're
were thinking.
thinking about digging holes in the earth behind the dumpster.
Yeah,
Doesn't that go uphill a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, there's an
Which would
incline.
be fine if you
Right.
have it sitting uphill above the dumpster.
Right.
How far back is our property line?
oh,
It's not that far.
we're not gonna be
down.
that far away from the dumpsters.
Yeah, it'll be, our property line, I know commonly back in when I was involved with mowing a few times, we used to mow a lot of that back there, but our property line's only probably 20, 30 feet off the back of them dumpsters at an angle. It
Okay.
gets deeper at different points and then it peaks back out towards that roadway there.
Yeah.
But
I
if you
mean,
go on our website and take a look at it, or on the auditor's website, you can get the lines. I don't know if there's pins on the pivot points. Also, I happened to notice when I was on there just the other day, that property, even though that whole big 10 acres sold to a person, right up against the back of the fire station, it says it's all owned by the state now.
That's the Route 30
That's Route 30
extension.
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have the state help us with blockading all the ball hauling
Yeah,
down
really.
through there.
Well, I feel that if we have the sign and that's the expense, a couple of 4x4s isn't gonna kill us.
I figured 4x4s and cement, put cement in the hole. You don't.
Okay.
Say again, Trustee Pira?
What is it made out of? Is it
It's-
like an election sign?
It's like aluminum.
It's-
It's a type, it's aluminum. I
Is it
think.
aluminum?
Yeah.
It's a metal, it's metal.
or?
Oh, it's metal.
Metal.
It's metal.
Oh, it's
It's
way
metal.
more rigid than I thought. Okay, it's corrugated.
Street sign, like a road sign.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
made out of road sign material.
Yeah.
So you can literally drill holes and go right through it, right into the, all right. What are we thinking? A couple bags of cement, a couple of 4x4s.
And some type of really good anchor, screws with washers or whatever.
Now that you have all this free time since the brush truck's back in.
I don't wanna,
I'm just joking. I'm not making them. Who wants to tackle this? Do you guys want to tackle it? Would you be willing to tackle it?
well,
Is that all
I
right?
thought that's what was gonna happen. It would be another our project.
All right. How much money do we think we're gonna need? What's a 4x4 cost?
Quite a bit. That's why I'm saying if you could put it up a
Let
little.
me just make a call to Carter's and
Okay.
see how much
Yeah.
the 4x4.
Do you wanna make a motion?
How long a post do you think you're gonna have to get?
I'll figure that out.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. I'm sure you're gonna want them in the ground at least 4
10
feet,
Yeah.
4 feet, and then.
And then you're
there's
gonna want
one-
it to be up in the air a
Yeah.
little bit. Can
And the
we,
two center ones will be about another 3-4 feet
do we want
longer,
to
so.
wait 2 weeks and make a motion, or do you want to put something down that's up to,
I think we should go ahead and approve it so that they can
get
do it
going?
when they have time.
Okay. All right.
So I'll make a motion that we approve, we don't have an estimate on the price yet, but the purchasing of 4 posts,
4x4, yeah.
length to be determined, and necessary hardware to attach the signs for at the dumpsters at the fire station.
Probably 2 bags of cement each
Oh,
hole.
and cement too.
So Home Depot's 4x4 12s are $27 a piece.
So-
Bag of cement's $4.
Yeah, so we could say not to exceed $250.
Trustee Varian, seconds. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Is that all right with you, Mr. Ryan, $250? All right. All right. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Hope you get out again soon,
Yeah,
Randy.
Randy.
I got plenty to do here.
You'll do anything to get out of work, won't you?
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute,
Wait.
one more thing. Why is it because Randy's remote, we're done in an hour instead of 3 hours as last time? Just kidding.
All right, have a good night. Thank you all.
See you, Randy.
That's metal. Okay, I feel way better about that now.
Yeah.
Because if you put 4x4s across it, I'd gladly span it. I thought it was corrugated.
What was the date for
Mr.
the
Mayor,
other?
I wanted to talk with you before you sent it.
May 6th.
I want to see the email.
So these, meetings.
And she's gonna come back again one more
Afterwards.
time, because I know she's gonna do
7 PM?
You can watch these meetings.
You can watch it right now and watch it right now.
Just
Like,
for
let me
YouTube?
shut this, let me shut.
Hey, yeah, you can go watch
down.
me go to the bathroom 6 times.
No, just let me shut it down.
Going out there.
Watch what you say. I just shut it off because it's still on. That's still on. Wait till I shut everything.
It's okay. Everybody goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everybody does it.
Yeah, but if you get ready to say, well,
Well, you'll hear me back there in the bathroom.
you gotta always remember that until I get all my buttons shut off, everything's still on.
Hey, Rick, are you, I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get away to help you.
No, I already talked to,
Friday.
a couple of people that.
Maybe can run you down there.
Yeah, I'll get a ride down there. And I'll-
Rick.
What's the weather supposed to be?
It's supposed to be like 80 tomorrow.
You got tomorrow, but.
And then Wednesday is supposed to be nice Wednesday too.
Wednesday also hot.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go there, so we'll do it.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you
Yeah.
that link. You
Um,
subscribe.
I'll send you.
It would be nice if they get,
Subscribe. See,
Hey.
this is for YouTube. But I get that right there,
He just told me.
because I
He told me.
already set up.
Mr.
You
Hall.
see that icon? You wanna find that,
Look at him.
but I'm gonna send you the link.
You know.
Well, I don't even know if I have to
I'll
look
put it
right
right
now,
to
the
your
price
phone.
is so
Click on it,
different.
I'll put you into it and see here and make sure I got it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking $60,000 difference, so.
So, okay, I'm gonna give these back, Brian.
No, we got the last meetings on.
Mr. Lauer, here, I'm gonna give you these.
Did you shut the other? Okay, what did it have?
Make it clear.
And
It's not.
there you go, yeah. There you go.
Well, she said